Hello and welcome. My name is Mike Roslog and I'm the product manager for RAD Studio, which includes Delphi C++ Builder and Delphi Prism. Today we're going to talk about Delphi Prism, which is our .NET approach for Embarcadero that uses a Delphi-like language to help you do .NET applications. This is going to be a really quick one. I just want to show people how easy it is and some of the really cool benefits of doing .NET with Prism, because there are some really great things inside of the Prism IDE. So let's get started. I'm going to do a really quick kind of a hello world application. So I'm going to come out here to File, we're going to go to New, and we're going to go to Project. And then I'm going to pick a WPF application. I'm going to say OK, and it's going to go ahead and create a application for me. It's going to kick off the XAML, and it's going to bring up the designer, get everything working. Now, one of the interesting things is that I have my property manager like I have inside of RAD Studio or Delphi C++ Builder, and I can modify there, but I also have the XAML right here, and it says Windows Application. So I'm just going to come into here and just change this to Mike's Hello World. And as you see, it's changing up here on the top for me. So it basically is a two-way designer. I can see the code, I can see the XAML that represents my code, and then I can see the actual screen itself. And then I have the property manager over to the right, so everything is looking good. And as you notice, there's a small little window display right there. Now for this one, we're just going to do a really quick example. So I'm going to come out here and I'm going to drop two labels. So I'm going to drop one label, and we'll come out here, drop another label. And what we're going to do with these labels, just real simple, is I'm going to come into here and I'm going to go to my content and I'm going to say, call this my first number. And we'll just hit enter on that, and it's going to go ahead and put that in. The second thing I'm going to do is come down here to my second label. Now notice down in my XAML, I have basically my definition of the label, and this one I want basically, I'm going to put in here as second number. So I'm going to just type in second number. I'm going to put a colon and a space, and then I notice I just made a mistake, so I'm going to go ahead and put the colon space on that also, so it looks the same. The next thing I'm going to do is go back into my toolbox, and I'm going to get to text box controls. So I'm going to drop one text box control on here, and we'll just bring it down, line him up, and then I'll bring my other text box control into here, and we'll line him up also, so that we're on the same page. So now we have our two text boxes. We have our first and second number. If you haven't figured it out by now, we're going to basically create a quick calculator. And again, we're just going to leave them as text box 1, text box 2, and then we'll fix it. We'll just go ahead and use it from there. The next thing I want to do is drop a button down, and I'm just going to drop a button down in the middle. We're going to make this button just a little bit larger, and we're going to call this button calculate. Now again, I could come over here to my content and type in calculate, or I could come into my XAML and I could just put in here calculate. And as you can see, as I'm typing it in, it goes ahead and goes into the process. The last thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and throw a label down, and I'm just going to throw a label, and we'll just put this label right here. And inside that label, inside the content, I'm basically going to say answer is, and we'll just go ahead and, oops, let me just put a space in there, is colon, and then we'll hit enter. And so we got our answer is. So really straightforward. It looks, it's that two-way design. Should feel very comfortable. You got your component palette over to the side. You're dropping your components onto the form. You're manipulating your form. You're making things look, like you want them to. Now we're ready to go ahead and go into the structure. So I'm going to double click on my calculate, which is going to take me into my XAML.pass, which is, this is going to get me back into that Delphi approach. Now, in the old days, and I'm going to do this a certain way, so I'm going to come in here, and if you were writing in Delphi, you would normally come up here and put a var section into here. Of course, it does all the indenting very nicely. And I'm just going to say first number colon integer. And as you can see, the code completion is coming up to help me. So I can type in second number colon integer and hit enter, and we'll go ahead and do that. Now that's the way you've normally done Pascal in the past. But with Prism, the thing about Prism to keep in mind is Prism is a .NET language. So Prism is the language for the .NET framework, and when you write a Prism application, a Delphi Prism application, you're really writing a .NET application. Keep in mind that Delphi Prism offers you all the possibilities of any .NET application you see out there in the world today, whether it's written in C# or VB. But usually, because you guys are doing Pascal and you understand Pascal, Prism does it a lot more cool, and it does it a lot more cleanly. So there's a lot of really cool features about Prism that you can take your advantages of your knowledge of Delphi, bring them right into Delphi Prism, take advantage of the .NET framework, and be on your way and really go to town. So what we're going to do here, and this is going to look pretty straightforward for you. So I'm going to say first number, and I'm going to say colon equals, and go into here, and then I'm just going to say integer. Now there's an integer object type, so I'm just going to say integer.parse, and I'm going to parse my text box 1 text because we want that text box 1 dot, and then we're going to put in text here, and then we'll go ahead and put a semicolon on it, and that's going to give us the first number out of it. Then I'm going to say my second number, and we're going to do a colon equals, and we're going to do the same thing. Integer, it helps if I spell integer right, dot parse, and then we're going to say text box 2 dot text, and we'll come into here, semicolon. Now, here's some of the interesting things. There's some really cool advantages to the Delphi Prism language and some advancements that are kind of cool. So, I want to create a result that is going to basically hold an integer because I'm going to be adding these two numbers together. So, in the old days, just using Delphi, I would have to basically go up into the var section and think about it and go, oh, I need a result number or something like that inside of my var section before I even use it, or may never use it. So one of the cool advancements inside of Prism is that I can define my vars as I need them. So I can just come in here and say var, and then I can come in here and say result number colon equals, and then I'm going to basically say first number and use code completion for my first number plus my second number, and spell it correctly here, second number, semicolon. So now as you can see, I've defined my result number right there locally when I need it. So again, I don't have to worry about going up to the var section and making sure that I have everything put in context. I can just put the variables in as I need them right there. So then I can come into here and basically say label 3.content, and I can say colon equals, and inside of here I'm going to say answer is colon space dash, oops, double quote, sorry, my bad here. Let me go back and put my double quote in here so I have the correct thing. And then I'm going to come into here, say plus, and then I'm just going to say result number dot, and I'm going to do a toString. And so that's going to take that result number and do the toString. Now, I've just added the code. I've shown you kind of how to do the variables. We went ahead and created the two-way XAML. So we went ahead and created the application just like you normally would. I'm using the WPF. So now all I got to do is run this program. So I'm going to come out here, hit the run button. It's going to go out there, build it. Here in a second, it's going to kick it off just like you would expect it to. And then I'm going to put in a 12. I'm going to go ahead and put in another 12. I'm going to hit the word calculate, and boom, our answer is 24. So that hopefully gives you just a really quick hello world inside of Delphi Prism. It's a Delphi approach to the .NET framework using the latest and greatest .NET functionality and using the latest and greatest in the designers to build great .NET applications using Delphi Prism. Thanks again for listening. There's more to come. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.